Facing a cash crunch, Russians are rushing to cash out their savings.
Most people don't know what is going on. There's a lot of confusion.
Prices are rising. Access to medicines and food is getting harder. I'm worried about my children and family.
I can't pay through my phone anymore. My card isn't working either and the ruble is depreciating.
Many of them are switching to cryptocurrencies to preserve the value of their money and to be able to continue transferring funds. More than 17 million Russians currently own cryptocurrencies. These investments make up a larger share among their portfolios than gold and stocks. And peer-to-peer trading of tokens rose by 350% last year. Since sanctions were introduced, interest in cryptocurrencies has shot up even further. Exchanges like Binance say the number of transactions from the country is increasing rapidly. But Washington and its allies are concerned that Russian officials are using them to evade sanctions. They're considering tougher controls over the tokens and the platforms that facilitate their trade.
Those oligarchs can move a lot of money or store a lot of money or hide a lot of money through crypto. So, in effect, what I'm proposing and some other senators are working on right now is to authorize the president to say any of these exchanges that are not following through on economic sanctions against the oligarchs, against Russia, can't do business in the United States.
The new measures would ensure cryptocurrency exchanges and wallet providers implement US laws, including sanctions. They would give US intelligence officials access to personal information of investors, and platforms would be required to submit periodic reports to the Treasury Department. Other G7 countries are considering similar measures, effectively expanding their jurisdiction over decentralized finance. But analysts say despite having grown into a $3 trillion market, cryptocurrencies cannot be used to move or hide illicit funds.
It's just as a function of market liquidity, so there's just not enough tokens, coins being able to be sold and traded and exchanged. Furthermore, this is done in a relatively centralized manner through exchanges that would prohibit those transactions from occurring in the first instance. And it wouldn't be able to, if we are truly engaging in sanctions evasion, it would not be able to avoid detection.
Even before the new legislation comes into effect, some exchanges are cracking down on their Russian clients. Coinbase has blocked 25,000 wallet addresses related to Russia, and CoinZoom has halted new account openings in the country. Others, like Binance and FTX, say they will clamp down if it's mandated by Washington, further tightening the financial noose around Russian citizens at a time when the value of their incomes and savings is already in freefall. Amy Anderson, TRT World.
Jeffrey Tucker is a crypto market analyst and the president of Brownstone Institute. He joins us now from Austin in Texas. Welcome back to the program, Jeffrey. Can I start by asking you about this idea that perhaps cryptocurrencies can be used to stash the wealth of oligarchs, the wealthy, and even to launder money? That has been a concern by some regulators and crypto skeptics. Do you believe it's a well-founded fear?
We've heard this for 10 years. I don't think it's very well founded. In fact, the cash is a much more likely source and other assets. Crypto is actually traceable in ways in which other assets and currency are not. So I don't think it's as serious as people say. I mean, sometimes I think these claims are made just sort of out of science fiction. But I'm not saying it doesn't happen. But the main victims of these kinds of bans and inclusion of crypto in the sanctions are going to be average Russians who have lost faith in their banking system and are worried about protecting their assets. But it's just generally true of sanctions in general. The biggest victims are the people, not the oligarchs.
And when you look at the Russian ruble, for example, it's plummeted to historic lows since Russia's assault on Ukraine began. What about this idea of using cryptocurrencies, perhaps stable coins like Tether, in order to stash their savings? Do you think that's an effective way to do that?
Well, the problem with stablecoins, and I think it's an incredible innovation, just to be clear so your viewers understand, stablecoins really improve on traditional check clearing, reduce counterparty risk. It's much faster and cheaper, and that's why the markets have grown so big. But stablecoins are necessarily tied to regulatable and controllable exchanges. So there's an element there that is still centralized. Stablecoins are issued and guaranteed by and supported by the exchanges. So to that extent, they're going to be, there's going to be surveillance and monitoring and track and trace for all the transactions, and everybody knows that. The only way to avoid all these kinds of controls is just to go straight peer-to-peer with a clean token out of privately held wallets, and that is just not the way that the bulk of crypto is being transferred anymore.
Okay, Jeffrey Tucker, we'll have to leave it there, but always a pleasure. Thanks again for joining us on the program.